All right, guys, so in this video, I'm going to talk about another strategy that I used, and it's mainly just staying motivated. And, I had three quotes that I've always kind of just, I got them pretty much almost to the point where they're just second nature, and I can always kind of draw upon them, per se, to remind me, to ground me, and also to motivate me. And it really kind of helped going through the process because you're going to have those days where you're just not motivated to study. You're going to have days where you something else, life takes over and gives you a stomach punch. So I want to share those three quotes that I kind of have used over the years, and I still use them today when it comes to when I speak to others who are going through difficult situations. A lot of times I can kind of reframe it a little bit and kind of throw in these ideas, if appropriate. I should say that. So, but I also used, I used to wake up at, it got to the point where I was waking up at 3:30 in the morning to study for the STEP exams because I had to go to work at, 8, and I'd get off at 4 or 5 o'clock. And so I needed that extra time. And I don't think I've ever recovered since then. I still wake up. I mean, I wake up at 4 a.m., 4:30 these days. Like it's just my norm. It's just my normal. It's become my normal. And I'm okay with that because it's a good reminder of it's a blessing to be able to wake up at 4 or 4:30 a.m. and do what I do and kind of live the life that I'm living. But it goes back to I needed some motivation. There were some times where I really needed some reminders of it's going to be worth it. So the video that I use is at Matuzas. I don't know how you pronounce it, but guy makes great videos. He's kind of infrequent with it, but the ones that he makes are really, really good. And it's just, when I'd wake up, I'd kind of play the video and it just kind of get me going. And I like that kind of stuff. I like to hear a good story, as we always say. And his videos were good. I liked them. They worked for me, and we're all a little different. So I'll put that video down there. But I just want to share three quotes that I also used. And I'd challenge you to find maybe 2 or 3 quotes that really apply to you, that really kind of resonate, that you can always, again, ground yourself. And the first one, and I use this this first quote I used when I was even a school teacher. I taught math, high school math. Oh, gosh, those were the days. And, it was written by William James, and I'll try to put the full quote on the screen for you. But it goes something to the effect of, it's your attitude at the beginning of an undertaking is essentially the most important characteristic or part of it that will determine the outcome. And it's such a good reminder, guys, is that a lot of times before we even get started on this process, we defeat ourselves. We talk about all the negativity and there's all these other people that want to be the negative Nellies. And so we defeat ourselves before we even get started. And so that's why I always just remind people, you got to have that attitude on the front end of a successful outcome. And this quote by William James just really just kind of summarizes that. And it just made a lot of sense to me. And that was even before I went down this process for the most part. So it really, it's really impacted me. But I really like that. It's how you think on the front end will determine the outcome. A lot of times, they even say the boxers and the fighters of the world, they're like, man, I knew I won before I even got in the ring. The other guy was defeated already. And that's how you kind of look at it. You look at it from an end, and I think, let the universe kind of take over and be on your side on that. I think you'll have a real positive outcome. And so that was the first quote that I've used for many years. The second quote that I like is the one by Seneca, and I've used this one more since I've been in the journey, more than the front end, but I wish I would have had it a long time ago. And it's essentially that one that we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. And it's so true. I mean, how when we think about that, how true is that statement? We play the woulda, coulda, shoulda game to ourselves so much. We beat ourselves up about things we said or didn't say or should say so many times, and we're so worried about the future and what it holds, or in our perception of that it doesn't hold, or that someone else holds our happiness. And will I find someone? Will I get this job? Will I get into residency? And we spend so much of our time wasted, absolutely wasted. And Seneca was a Stoic, and obviously one of those Stoic principles is you focus on the things you worry about, and other stuff you don't. If it's out of your control, then it's not really on your radar per se as things to worry about. So that quote though is that we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. Really kind of just grounds me again to say there's things to worry about and there's things not to worry about. And throughout the day, I even tell people this. I said, look, that's something I'm not gonna focus on. It's not worth my time, because my time is valuable. So that's quote number 2 that I like. And then the third one is one that I use a lot of times for sleep as well. And we all have different philosophies and what your religious preferences are, but I think it's from Philippians. Is the one that it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And the way I had always used this one, and growing up, I wasn't, I wouldn't say a very religious person. It was, I don't know, we were kind of middle of the road. We'd go to church and then we wouldn't go to church, and it was more for show, I would say, for family purposes, than when we did go, more than actually going for the purpose of. But as I got a little older in life and kind of circle back through it, to me it's important. It's beyond important. And I think when I got to the point of actually surrendering, when I say surrendering to the process and surrendering to God for direction, that's when my life really changed. So there's times, and I still even have those, when I let things creep into my thoughts, and you have trouble sleeping at night. I just recite this. I recite this phrase. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, over and over and over, and it just kind of reframes everything into a nice way of thinking, and it's just relaxing. It's peaceful, and it's just it's gonna be okay. No matter the outcome, it's gonna be okay. And it's always that perception. It's nice to think that you have someone on your side that's always going to be there for you, and that kind of understands, and just that there's that support. So that's just one that I use, especially at night when I have that difficulty with saying can't shut the mind down or can't wind it down a little bit, and you want to get to sleep and just peace and rest. Is I just keep reciting that over and over. You can't start at 5, counting backwards from 4, and you just keep reciting it. So guys, those are just 3 quotes. I would say challenge you, find something that works for you. Have it on hand. So many times it's very easy to go online and kind of scroll through quotes. There's so many people that have good lines out there, and you can kind of scroll through those, and you can get lost, and you can spend a couple hours just looking through quotes, and you're like, oh yes, this is good, this is good, this is good. But when you really think about it, there's going to be a couple core ones that are going to be really in alignment with who you are and who you are becoming. So I just challenge you, find those for you, keep them handy, keep them in your thought process, and then apply them. And that's the key, just apply them. And I think if you do those things, guys, you're going to be moving in the right direction. And again, as long as you can kind of, keep moving forward and, win the day, and I think you're going to have the outcome that you're hopefully you're wishing for. So hope you liked the video, guys, and we'll see you next time.